Hello everyone, how's it going? So 2026 is here. We're about halfway through the month of January. And I think this month is going to be the make it or break it year for a lot of gamers. Now, for the last 3 to 4 years, we've seen everything explode in price, not just gaming, but all luxury items and almost all necessities. But in gaming, and that's what I want to focus on, we've seen the prices exploded. Like when the crypto boom happened and everyone was buying GPUs for crypto mining, those prices never went down. And now that we're seeing RAM explode, we've seen console prices go up, we've seen game prices go up to $80. They're not going to go down unless there's some real change. I know Mario Kart 8 kind of opened the gates of hell when it comes to $80 games, but I still think those numbers are inflated because it was bundled together with the Switch 2 if you paid an extra $50. Regardless, we saw that some people were willing to fight back, such as when Microsoft, the people who would literally buy up studios and close them down because of poor management, literally reversed their decision for the Outer Worlds 2. But a lot of people are starting to be priced out of gaming, and it's becoming increasingly more alarming, so I kind of wanted to discuss that. So, first off, like the price. This is the first time I think ever that we've seen game consoles and everything go up in price, and it also had record lows when it came to sales because guess what? Not a lot of people can afford $600-800 consoles, especially Xbox. Xbox lost to a freaking meme console, literally a weak version of the Kinect 2.0, which is just funny. Like, honestly, we all saw this coming because Xbox literally just destroyed their own brand by being so anti-gamer. Regardless, we've seen Nintendo, which was the most affordable option, now cost as much as a PlayStation. In fact, it's ironic that the Steam Deck is actually the most budget-friendly option. I've seen a Steam Deck go for $350 on Valve's home website, completely refurbished, and that's actually more powerful than the Switch. It's better built, and you have access to thousands of incredible games. Granted, you won't have access to Nintendo games unless you use those emulation programs, but Valve doesn't care. They're just like, hey, it's your Steam Deck, do whatever you want. Whereas with Nintendo, they've been shown that they will literally brick your console if you use the wrong third-party accessory at this point. Like, it's crazy the amount of just measures they put into the Switch 2, and I'm actually really scared to actually even use third-party accessories because I don't want my $450 console to get bricked. I know people would say you're being too alarming, but would you risk a console that you paid over $400 for? I know I don't. I clean my consoles and maintain my stuff very well. Regardless, games have also exploded in prices. Controllers exploded in prices, and they're more prone to failure than ever before because they have all this crap that no one asked for, such as haptic triggers and other features I don't even know about, like motion control, touch pads, all this crap that I don't think anyone even uses. They usually turn it off because it's such a nuisance, and then they never fix the actual issues like drifting issues, prone to failure issues, and it's especially prevalent with those Elite controllers that cost over $200. It's just ridiculous at this point. I think most people just want a baseline controller that has rumble and that's it. As long as it functions, that's all they want. And we used to have those options when it came to cheaper controllers, but of course those have also been more or less phased out, and also you run the risk of losing access to your console's online functions if they detect illegal software and all that. Yeah, we do have controllers like the Power 8 controllers, which, yeah, they feel really cheap, but they get the job done. Even though, you know, there are certain functions within the game that they don't operate well with, like such, for example, I tried to use that controller for Super Mario Galaxy and it doesn't work, so I have to use the crappy little this thing that I hate this thing so much. It's just so uncomfortable. But yeah, prices are definitely a concern for a lot of people, and they're starting to notice that indie games have been providing AAA experiences for less than half the price. Like Silksong and Expedition 33 have done a lot more damage than people might think to the AAA market system. Expedition 33 provided a Final Fantasy level experience for $50, so much so that people literally bought the game more than once, even on physical editions, just to support the developers. Silksong also hurt a lot of people, even indie developers, because this was made by I think 3 people, and it literally gives you a AAA experience. Granted, it's an extremely hard game. I'm not gonna lie, I've literally had to back away from the game because it was so damn difficult, but I can acknowledge the fact that this game literally provides a AAA experience that people were probably even pay $50-60 for if they wanted to, but they said no, we'll give it to you for $20, and guess what, the DLC is also free. So take that for what you will. This is not to say that all AAA games are garbage. Like, I just finished playing Silent Hill F, And I'm like, actually, this game was worth the price. I mean, I don't think it's worth $70. I think it's worth $60, but it was actually a pretty good psychological horror game. I enjoyed myself playing the game. Another game that I think a lot of people would pay $70 for is Devil May Cry 5. I recently replayed that game, and I'm not saying that because I'm part of the Capcom Creators Program. You can tell from the developer diaries, from the game's design to the visual design, this game is almost 10 years old, and it plays better than most modern titles. It functions well. It has great music, combat, boss fights, everything. You can tell the passion went into this project, and it was more or less worth the wait in every regard. Like, Capcom really knows how to please their fans, and I feel like a lot of people can tell when a developer just doesn't care anymore. Like, look at Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 actually sold very well, but it still was a failure when it came to its finances because of poor management, poor budget. I mean, the game is inferior to Borderlands 2 in almost every way, and that game is over a decade old, and they've just never been able to replicate that. And why? Because you can tell that there was no passion behind this project. They just did it for a paycheck. They've been hinted at this great war that's been going to happen for so long that people have just lost interest. It's just like you're constantly moving the goalpost, and you can tell they're just literally treating their fans as garbage. Look at Tales of the Borderlands. That game was absolutely incredible, one of the best story-driven games ever made, and then you look at Tales of the Borderlands 2 and you're just like, what the fuck happened here? Same thing for Borderlands the pre-sequel, Borderlands 3. You can tell the difference between when you go from Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 5, and then Borderlands 2, the Borderlands every other game that came after it. And it just doesn't help that you not only have to pay for the base game, which is like $70, you have to pay for DLC, which is an additional like $50, and people can't afford this. With everything that's needed to just play the game, on top of having to put money aside just in case your freaking controller just has drifting issues, it's just inconceivable about the money that people need in order to just play a video game where games used to be an affordable option. Yes, during the Atari age, it was very expensive. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but that was experimental technology. That was like a very luxury item. But once the Super Nintendo came out and the Sega Genesis, it became an affordable option that a lot of poorer families like myself, I grew up poor, could afford. You can buy a Game Boy, get Pokemon Red version, and you literally had something that could distract you for months. Same thing for Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Yes, as I've gotten older, I'm much better at video games. I complete these games in like an hour or two. But back in the day, these were complete experiences that people enjoyed that were very affordable. And a lot of people are going back to those games because they're cheaper than ever. And two, they're actually good games that showed the developers actually cared about what they were making. You didn't have all these patch notes and fixes. Yes, these games were incredibly broken. You can see this from speedrunners. But they actually showed that they cared about what they were making. Look, games do have to make money. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. You need to make money to keep the lights on and to ensure that you have a really solid life. Pay your employees, pay their insurance, pay the office space, all of that. But you can do that and still make a profit. Like, again, look at Expedition 33. Look at Silksong with all these dumbasses saying, oh, we have to charge $100 for games. And they're using GTA as the scapegoat for this. Like, I'll give Rockstar credit for, like, just not saying anything about this because they do keep quiet about their games. But nevertheless, you see all these assholes who are coming out. Legendary Drops did an incredible video of this monetization officer for Activision Blizzard who's trying to shill a gambling website saying, you need to monetize everything. You need to monetize loot boxes, especially with indie games where everyone is charged for everything. Like, this is the douchebag type of douchebag who would say that you need to be charged every time you reload your gun in freaking Battlefield, like that infamous statement. And you're just looking at this and you're just like, this guy knows nothing about gaming. Like, if your game sucks, no one is going to play it. No one's going to buy it. We've seen that recently with games like Concord, with Splitgate's Revival. Like, if it doesn't matter. If your game sucks, no one's going to play it. They're just going to be like, this game's crap. I'm not playing it anymore. Give me my money back. Or if it's a free-to-play game, I just uninstall it and forget it ever existed. So yeah, you have people like this who constantly use GTA as a scapegoat that's upset. Like, GTA can get away with it because GTA is a cultural milestone. It's one of those games that literally can charge whatever and people will buy it because you know you're going to get quality with it. like as much as Rockstar and Take-Two have been with when it came to GTA 5 and canceling all that DLC, and even with the recent controversy such as with the Red Dead Redemption mod HD textures thing, they canceled that and put a lawsuit out, and now they recently canceled the Bully thing where it was a multiplayer game that modders were developing. It's their IP, they can do whatever they want with it, but at the same time it was just really scummy. The fact we never got Bully 2 or GTA 5 DLC, it really sucks. But GTA, again, it's a cultural milestone, and you can't use this as a scapegoat. No one's going to pay $100 for Silent Hill F. As much as I want Devil May Cry 6, I'm not paying $100 for it. Like, it's just how it is. But they constantly use this as a scapegoat in order to try and charge more and more money. And in the same case with Mario Kart World, despite it selling millions of copies, I would make the argument that game only sold the way it did because it was bundled with the Switch 2. Like, I looked through that physical report and maybe I misread or something or anything, but it looks like they counted the sales for the Switch 2 bundle as well. And seeing that console sales have dipped to an all-time low even during this holiday season where people just don't have the money to spend this. In fact, most little kids, which is your target audience for video games, are just asking for Fortnite V-Bucks and Roblox premium currency more than ever because their parents can't afford to spend $650 for plastic blocks featuring Pokemon. Like, that commercial is literally it's the pinnacle of just dystopian when you look at that, and it's the same way that applies to video games nowadays. Like, everything is just getting so damn expensive, and I think it leads into the next major issue when it comes to gaming. Passion. It's just like, we haven't seen this generation, like, name one game that actually felt like a new generation game. And when I asked my friends and family about this, most of them were just like, not really anything. Nothing is like that gave you that same wow factor like the PlayStation 4 era and Xbox One era, like Horizon Zero Dawn or Ghost of Tsushima. A lot of bangers came out on the PlayStation. Shadow of the Colossus remake. Nowadays it's just like stale, uneventful crap. Like, it's just like nothing really wowed anyone. The only game that a lot of people told me that felt like a next generation game was Alan Wake 2, because even then they were just like, this game was nothing like they ever played. So take that for what it will. I liked Alan Wake 2 a lot. I think it was an incredible game. But yeah, a lot of them said Alan Wake 2 was their next generation game. A lot of them also said, some of them said Elden Ring, but I told them that came out on the last generation, and they were shocked about that. But regardless, this generation has been just really horrendous, and I think this year is going to prove whether people are going to remain within the gaming culture entirely, especially within new games, or just going to go back to playing old games. They're just going to go and say, you know what, I haven't played Borderlands 2, I haven't played Final Fantasy 15 yet, I haven't played all these older games. Oh my god, I can get Skyrim? I've never played this game before. Like, I think that's rare, but you get what I'm saying. Like, so many of these games cost like $5-6 when you go back, and when I looked at Capcom's sale, I was just like, holy crap, you can buy the entire Resident Evil series for literally like $100. Literally the price, less than Borderlands 4 than in its entire DLC catalog, even though it hasn't been released, but the DLC, pre-purchasing the DLC, you can get every Resident Evil game to ever release, and you will have a vastly superior experience. You will have over like 100 hours of experience. You can not just Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, you can get the entire franchise, Dragon's Dogma, Mega Man, all these games. Same thing for Square Enix. Like, they had their sales. You can buy every Final Fantasy leading to Final Fantasy 15 for $80. Like, the entire Pixel remaster, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, not including the MMOs, the 13 games. Granted, you still need like mod support because they don't really work on PC, but you get what I'm getting. Like, you can buy entire catalogs of games right now and have a vastly better experience. And maybe this is just me getting older. Like, I'm over 30 years old. I've been playing games for 3 decades, and rarely have I seen games that literally wow me in such a factor. Like, a lot of games just feel samey to me. And maybe it's just because of my life experience of playing so many of these games. It's the same thing for movies and books. It's like, I know how this is going to go. I know how this is going to end. It's because I've seen so many of it that it's rare for someone to really shock me. Like, Alan Wake 2 actually did shock me with how different it was. Like, they actually took this technology and said, hey, we're going to make something different, and they did. Same thing for, like, the last very fun game. Again, I'm not saying this because I'm part of the Capcom Creators Program, but the last game that I played that was genuinely fun, that to the point that I just played it for fun, fun was Resident Evil 4 Remake. I literally would just go back and play that game just for fun. Just because it was really fun. I loved Expedition 33. I think it's a banger game. But it's not a game that I feel like I would replay given its length, and I just don't want to fight Clea again. I'm just going to say it. I really hate that boss fight. I still haven't beaten her. I feel like that really killed me. Like Simon, I still haven't beaten, but I'm having fun fighting him. But Clea, God, I do not like fighting her. Same thing for Silksong. Like, I want to beat the game, but it's so fucking hard that I had to literally take a break from it. But I replayed Resident Evil 4 Remake. I replayed Devil May Cry 5, and I was just like, even Devil May Cry 4 and DMC Devil May Cry as well. And I'm just like, dude, I'm having actual fun here. I don't feel like I need to, like, it also helps that I'm not making guides or anything, but it's also just like I'm having genuinely a good time, and these games cost so dirt cheap now that I don't know how you're going to encourage someone to pay $80 for a game with a $450 console with components that cost more than a car payment nowadays and think that the number is going to go up anymore. I think people have reached their breaking point, and I think a lot of people are just done. Like, they just can't afford it anymore. It's going to reach the end to the breaking point where they find out sales have cratered. And why have they cratered? Because you just tapped your consumer market too hard. Like, it's just not going to work well if you want that number to go up. And seeing that people see that there are a lot better options out there, the free market is a wonderful thing, because if you provide a crappy product, people will go elsewhere, and there are going to be people who capitalize on it and say, hey, we have the better product, we have the better soda, we have the better burger, we have the better video game, and people will pay for it. Like, look at the hero shooter genre. A lot of people say it's dead. It's not dead. It's just stale. Like, High Guard is failing, but Deadlock for Valve, I guarantee you, they release that game, it's going to do very well because it's a fun game. People enjoy playing games that are fun. Arc Raiders, another great example. A lot of people thought extraction shooters were dead. No, they're not. You make a good extraction shooter, people will come. They will pay the entry fee. Same thing for Overwatch when it first came out. A lot of people said that game should have been free to play, but because the game was so much fun, people were willing to pay the $60 to play the game. That's what you need to do. I know it's easier said than done, but this is another factor I think that's been lost. A lot of people who made those studios that made it big, Bungie, Activision, Blizzard, that come to my head, they were made by gamers for gamers. Made by people who want to make good games because they said, we like good games. Same thing for why Larian Studios is such a massive success. They made a game that they would play. They made a game for gamers by gamers. And gamers understand what gamers want. But that's it for me. I rambled on for a lot, but tell me what you think in the comments below. If you think gaming is going to be cooked this year, or do you think there's going to be a reckoning, or maybe I'm full of shit. I mean, as someone who's collected a lot of physical games, as you can see here, this is just the first row. There's some more games in the back, and there's games up there. Someone who spent thousands of dollars on games, not just games, but you can tell by that, merchandise as well. I just don't see it rising up anymore, but tell me again what you think. I love to hear other people's opinions. That's the only way I learn. And as an idiot like myself, I love to learn more. But that's it for me. Goodbye.